Construction contracts are unique in some ways among legal contracts. They anticipate and plan for changes during the project, not included in the original contract. Some design changes may be minor, but all too often, design changes lead to costly claims and lawsuits. A design change simply is the difference between what is called for in the original contract and what is requested after construction begins. Changes can be requested by an owner, contractor, or any third party. Changes may be directed changes or constructive changes. Such changes typically are expected and are accounted for in the contract. Directed changes usually are easy to identify. These changes usually originate from the owner. They may include changes such as additions or deletions of work, or a change in materials or scheduling. Constructive changes are typically caused by the actions or inactions of the owner or others involved in the project. They may arise from such things as a failure to disclose conditions on the job site, untimely inspections by governmental entities, or a failure of a subcontractor to meet a deadline. Constructive changes frequently give rise to claims because the owner or contractor may be unwilling to acknowledge that a design change is necessary, or the design professional was not at fault for foreseeing and planning in advance for the change condition. A cardinal change arises where the purpose of the original agreement has been frustrated or made impossible by the extent of the requested design change. A cardinal change amounts to the owner breaching the contract, and the design professional typically would be relieved of performance. For example, assume the design contract called for the construction of a restaurant with an outdoor playground. Should the owner choose to eliminate the playground, the original purpose of the contract would not be violated, and the design change likely would be permissible under the contract. But if the owner sought to eliminate the restaurant entirely, it would violate the purpose of the original contract and constitute a breach. All design changes will be governed by the changes clause in the contract. The changes clause could be the most important clause in a construction contract because it specifies the owner can make changes, in what quantities, and what other alterations the owner deems necessary to complete the work. The design professional, on the other hand, is obligated by the changes clause to perform changes to the work according to the owner's instructions, provided the contract provides for the design professional to be compensated. To avoid claims and potential lawsuits, a design professional should pay special attention to the changes clause in both the design professional's agreement and in the prime contract. Before taking on a project, a design professional should clearly understand what is required and how they will be compensated for the design changes during the project. Most claims from design changes can be avoided. Never rely on a verbal design change or a promise to pay by a contractor or owner. Always document design changes in writing. When the need for a constructive change arises during construction, check the contract immediately to determine any deadlines to provide notice to the owner or the contractor. Typically, the contractor owes the duty to put the owner on notice, but if in doubt, confirm that the responsible party has provided the owner timely notice. The notice clause prevents a contractor or a design professional from prejudicing the owner's rights to investigate, mitigate, or document the change. Never rely on the contractor without confirming notice was provided in writing. A design professional who relies only on the contractor, depriving the owner of rights to object to the change, may find it difficult to get paid for any work performed related to the design change. At worst, the design professional may become the subject of an owner's claim or lawsuit for damages. Confirm the scope of work anticipated by the design change. Confirm the amount of reimbursement and the terms of payment are clearly spelled out before beginning work on the change. When a potential change is identified, create a potential change order file. It is important to correctly classify the nature of the change early in the process. Review the contract to determine whether the change meets the minimum contract requirements. Be sure to follow the correct procedures to document the change. Be thorough. Documentation is the key to avoiding costly claims and future lawsuits. At the beginning of a project, the project management staff should ensure the use of standardized procedures and logs. The project team should maintain a document log that includes all relevant contracts, specifications, proposed changes, reports, analysis, or other documents. In addition, create an issues log. At a minimum, it should contain the date created, a description of the issue, the party responsible for the issue's resolution, personnel or work affected by the issue, the documents involved, and the date closed. Implementing best practices to systematically document the need for design changes, confirm authority to proceed, and define the scope of the design change and reimbursement can avoid future costly claims and potential lawsuits against you.